Have you ever opened a closet or a drawer only to feel like your heart start racing because you feel so much chaos inside? You're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to find anything, or why do I have so much junk? Most people don't realize this, but the clutter in our physical environment, our physical space, often mirrors the clutter in both our mental space as well as our financial life. When you simplify your surroundings, you can create a much larger bandwidth, both for mental as well as emotional health. And when that happens, everything from balancing your budget to creating a more confident retirement plan to really taking the action to secure your financial future becomes so much easier and more achievable. In my 35 years of helping clients create a secure financial future, one thing is very clear. The more clutter and junk you have in your environment, the more difficult it is to create the calm, the peace you need to create financial decisions. And the more clean your space and the more clear you are on not only where you are, but where you want to go, the easier it is to do the things you need to do to get the results you want. So today we're going to literally dive into how you can simplify your life and the space you're working in so that you can create a more secure financial future, something that will literally change the trajectory of your life. So hope you enjoy today's episode. Hi, I'm Annette Bau, host of the Wealth Inside and Out podcast and founder of the Millionaire Insider. My mission is to help you simplify the money game so you can create a financially secure and fulfilled life without having to have a PhD or spend countless hours on your finances. You're going to learn how to think like a millionaire, stop worrying about money and wondering if your financial house is truly in order, and instead spend your time doing what you love. With over 3 decades advising 7, 8, and even 9-figure millionaires, and now joining that elite group, I'm in a unique position to help you make the best financial choices so you can create a secure financial future and retirement you love. This is the Wealth Inside and Out podcast. For today's show notes, you can go to themillionaireinsider.com/145. If you enjoy our free podcast, please follow us on your favorite channel and also give us a 5-star review and share a comment. It really helps us to get ranked and for people to find our show. We also appreciate your sharing this with others. We love to hear these stories. MillionaireSeries.com copyrights all materials and intellectual property. This information is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to replace any advisor or specialist or to provide any investment, financial, tax, retirement planning, or healthcare advice. By accessing this content, you agree to hold MillionaireSeries.com and its affiliates harmless for results achieved or not achieved. So let's start with the psychology of clutter and financial overwhelm. Clutter doesn't just fill our shelves, it fills our souls and our minds. Studies show that physical disorganization contributes to mental fatigue, decision anxiety, and even procrastination. It's not much good comes from it. When your environment is chaotic, your brain is forced to consistently process open loops, meaning it's got unfinished tasks and unresolved decisions. That is not a good thing. This can lead to difficulty focusing, lower productivity, a delay or just an abdication of financial decisions, and increased emotional spending, meaning you go spend because you feel like it, or you drink, or you eat, or you smoke. Some of those addictive behaviors that give you an immediate dopamine hit and gratification, but cause serious long-term problems. Compare that to a clean, organized space, and you get more clarity. You can think clearer. You're able to set priorities and you're able to act with purpose. I mean, just try it. Now, I would love to say I'm super, super organized. I'm organized in some ways. I would love to get even more organized and I would love to have less stuff, and I am working on it. It's a work in process. I know that when I'm in an environment that's clean and organized, how much better I feel. And one of the things that I do almost every day when I leave my office is I have my office organized so that I know what I'm working on, where things are, and I don't have a lot of distractions when I get into my office. Same thing with our house. I really like a clean house and also a tidy house. I just feel better. we have made a concerted effort to really make this a priority in our lives, and I can tell the difference. So I encourage you to try it. One of the things it does is it reduces the noise that's going on and all of that chatter in your mind that's created when you have a chaotic environment. And it allows you to really focus on what matters, like creating that retirement plan, making sure it's adequately funded, building a spending strategy so you can afford what you want to have without worrying about running out of money, as well as even hiring a financial advisor who can help you map out your financial future. So those are things that are so important. But let's talk about how a simplified space can help you create a simplified financial life. Because sometimes people say, well, what is that connection? When your home is simplified and your mind is freer, right? Because you're not worrying about all those things, or you don't have all the things going off like, oh, yeah, that's right. I got to pay my bills because there's your pile of mail that's got to pay your bills. Oh, there's that stack of mail I haven't gone through. Oh, there's the groceries I haven't finished putting away. Your mind can focus in on what you want to focus in on. And then what ends up happening is you're able to really think about the bigger questions in your life. Like, what do I really want my retirement to look like? For many of us, we don't want to retire. Like, we don't want to quit our job, but we have a vision of what that looks like. When you have a calm, clear environment, you have more space to think about that, to vision what it looks like, to get really excited about that. What financial habits no longer serve you? That's a really good one. What habits no longer serve you? All those things are so important. What expenses are simply emotional clutter? Meaning you really don't need it. You don't necessarily even want it, but you have it. And it might even just be those splurges that you undertake when you're stressed out or when you don't want to deal with all the clutter in your life. So I want you to just don't get judgmental, but just pause and think about it. We all can improve in this area. In fact, I have a situation that I have been dealing with, a beneficiary who has a hoarding problem. And it's required me to get a little more knowledgeable on it. Here I am telling this person that they have to get rid of stuff because it's a real problem. It's a health problem. It's a physical problem. There's a lot of issues that go along with it. But I'm like, okay, if I'm telling them they need to get rid of stuff, maybe I need to also. So literally the following weekend up at my cabin, we got rid of enough stuff to fill the back of 2 large SUVs. It felt so good. Oh, it felt so good. And that's what I'm talking about is, when you have the space you need, your mental, emotional, and physical well-being is going to increase, and you're going to be able to have much more financial clarity and make the decisions, take the actions you need to take to achieve the results you want. That is the power of it. So I want to connect a couple of dots on how this works. Let's just say you have a pile of papers. So you deal with those, you're going to have easier access to being able to find the financial documents you need. When you have just stuff piled up, I know that when I'm not super organized and I have stuff piled up, I can't find what I need, and it drives me crazy. And it does for their finances, and it can also in your work environment. Organizing your closet, it helps you to be more intentional on what you're purchasing and reduces that emotional buying, that you buy where you really don't need something, but you just feel like it. I am also guilty here when it comes to owning more clothes than I need to. And this home we're hopefully building is going to have a closet that's literally the size of a bedroom. I'm like, oh my God, I am not going to fill this with more clothes. And so it's something that I too have to work on. I am not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I do know that when I make an effort at it and I'm organized in where my clothes are, I have them kind of by color so that I know where the different colors are, that I'm just more productive in my overall life. Downsizing or even getting rid of things that you really don't need. One of the things that a lot of people share that happens when they downsize or they minimize is that they feel like they have more confidence in living with less. Ultimately, that then can allow you to have more money for your financial future. And so it kind of like is a domino effect. You have less, you don't have as much stuff. And so now you're not buying as much stuff. And it just is an overall win-win in your life. A big one is cleaning out your garage. And this is a real sore subject for me and my husband. He gets really frustrated when I'm like, okay, it's time to clean the garage out. Do you want to do it or do you want me to do it? Now, his work area is not up to my standard, but I do kind of lean back on that. But when it starts getting really dirty and it starts just getting overly cluttered, then I'm like, okay, do you want to help on this or do you want to do it? And a lot of times he will go and do it. But I do know that when you have more room, whether it's in your garage or your bedroom or your office, you can move more easily. You don't risk falling. I mean, I had one of my clients who, unfortunately, because they have too much stuff around, stubbed his toe and it ended up being a really bad situation. You've got to be aware of those things. When you have more physical space, you're going to have more mental space. You're going to have more time to really get focused in on what you want, what you value, and where you're putting your energy. So I encourage you to entertain that. From clutter to confidence, 5 steps to declutter your life and your finances. Now, you don't have to do this all at once, and the goal is not perfection. If there's any other perfectionists in the audience, it's progress. And here's a simple step-by-step plan that I share with clients that has worked very effectively. Number 1 is just create space for what matters most. What do you want more in your life? Travel, time with your grandkids, guaranteed passive lifetime income? A clutter-free life makes space for you to do that. Now, for me, I love hiking. I love walking. Every day I'm either hiking or walking. Whether I'm in the mountains, on the beach, or in the desert, I am getting my steps in and just out in nature. One of the things that's important is to get really clear on what are your dreams. For me, probably my biggest dream, now granted, I'm in a financial position that, many people dream of, but my biggest dream is just to continue to have peace of mind and flow in my life. I've always wanted flow and really peace of mind, but I really feel that over the last couple years, my level of peace of mind has gotten so much better, and it's so nice. You want to find that time to create your plan as well as an executable strategy so that you can ultimately live that dream. And what ends up happening by doing that is you have the space to make your dreams a reality. And that's something that anyone can benefit from. All right, number 2, you got to start small. Just do one thing that will give you a win. So I want you right now, if you need to stop the podcast, I want you to figure one thing you're going to do. Go clean out a junk drawer or your wallet, or maybe it's your bill folder. One thing. And even feel free to message me on Instagram, which I'm going to be getting more active on, or even on LinkedIn. The problem with LinkedIn is I have so many contacts and I get so many emails that it can easily fall through the cracks. So let's just head on over to Instagram, to the Millionaire Insider, and just tell me one thing you did to reduce stuff in your life, to simplify it. I would love to see that. And maybe that's what I'll do is I'll share the biggest win on that. And maybe I'll even give you a book or a bonus. So you have some incentive there. Success builds momentum by simply cleaning out your billfold or by simply cleaning out a drawer that's then going to help give you momentum to continue the process with things that are important, such as your bills, your financial statements, things such as that. All right, number 3, you want to review your spending plan. Now that your mind is clearer and you have created a space for what matters, I want you to look at your spending habits with fresh eyes. This is so important. What aligns with your values and your goals and what doesn't? Do you really need all those streaming services? I am beyond amazed at how many people that don't have a lot of money have like every streaming service available. And the only reason I know this is because most of my career has been spent with very wealthy people and they don't. And all of a sudden now I start seeing their errors and I'm like, wait a minute, why do you need all these streaming services? Well, I like them. Oh, okay. Well, you can't afford them. But it's amazing how people get so caught up on something and they forget really what is the core value or the goal they want to achieve. So don't let that be you. Create or print out your budget and then go line item by line item. Do I need it? Is this a want or is this a need? Streaming services are not a need, they're a want. Eating out is not a need, it's a want. I just love how people put things on their need list that are really wants. Needs are your overhead to live, like your mortgage or your rent, or insurance, taxes, utilities, food, basic food. And then want is more of travel, entertainment, dining out, things like that. If something isn't a huge yes, just get rid of it. It will simplify your life. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to commit to doing that too, because that is just a good thing for all of us to do. Number 4, you want to create a cancel and consolidation list. This is going to allow you to make room for what you want and give you the mental space to be able to get it. So don't get caught up in the disease more. It is so easy to get caught up in that. And I share with you, I thought once I was a millionaire, everything was going to be great. And I will say having money is better. But I remember it's like, okay, 1 million didn't change much. 2 million didn't. And it was like somewhere between probably 5 and 7 million where I'm like, okay, another $1 million is not going to solve that inner void. And my friend, that is where the worth barometer comes in. And you can go to themillionaireinsider.com/3 to access insight on the worth barometer. But the worth barometer is really your belief in self-esteem. And it's something so many people suffer from, and many people who have money suffer from it. By healing and elevating your worth barometer, it changes everything. But I want you to just consider some things you can cancel or even consolidate. Unnecessary subscriptions, outdated bank accounts, or even brokerage accounts. Now, those are more where you're going to consolidate them. But do you really need 5 bank accounts, 5 checking accounts, 3 credit cards? Too often, people overspend because they have too many accounts. And I am shocked at some of the things I see where they'll have 5 or 6 credit cards and they don't even have a company or a business. I mean, I have several because each one of my companies has to have one. But I'm talking about an individual. And then they've got all these checking accounts and savings accounts. It makes it very difficult to determine what they're spending and for them to live within a budget. So again, just be aware of that and don't let that be you. What about clothes you never wear? I think we all should commit to giving some clothes away. So again, that'll be something I also commit to. Just think about things that you can cancel or consolidate that are going to give you more financial and physical and mental space and peace. What about eliminating that gym membership? Now, I belong to a couple clubs. I belong to a country club up north, and then I belong to a workout club near my home. We go, like tonight, we'll do weight training. We do weight training about 3 to 4 times a week. We do yoga a couple of times, and then our kids still use it. So we get our value from it. You want to be working out. Now, if you're truly not using it, then you got to figure out a plan of something you can do to where you will work out, because that in and of itself can be so important when it comes to mental health. But if you're not using it and you can discipline yourself to still working out without it, then I would say get rid of it. Streaming services are a big one, and then duplicate accounts. A lot of times people are paying fees on accounts. They don't even realize it. Now, if you have several retirement accounts, like an IRA, a 401k, a profit sharing plan, you can roll all of those into one IRA account. And that is so important. If you need help rolling your IRA, or if you're considering converting some of your IRA to a Roth, I encourage you to go to themillionaireinsider.com/support, and we can give you support on that. When you cancel and consolidate your life, you're not just saving money, you're freeing up valuable energy that you can spend how you like. Number 5, you want to digitize and consolidate. Now, this is similar to above, but it's a little bit different because paper clutter is a major stressor. A lot of times people just get caught up in that, and a lot of us grew up with that, so it's a little more challenging for us. But I encourage you to consider scanning key documents and going paperless whenever possible. We did that with our business, and it was just godsend. I still obviously deal with some paper, and I do really like paper, and I still like books and things like that. But boy, it does make a difference when you can have it somewhere centrally located. You can access it anywhere you are, and you don't have to worry about trying to find something or going through a pile of papers, not remembering where you put it. That said, you got to be really organized in how you have things set up in your file system. So that's really important. And then, as I mentioned, you want to really consolidate your financial accounts. It's going to save you time and money, not only you, but when you hire an advisor or with an advisor. So make sure you make that a priority. So one of the things I want you to consider as you enter pre-retirement and even retirement is that this is a time for you to really focus in on simplifying your life so that you can enter this new era. And it's not just about physical space, but really about your overall life. Being able to have the clarity so that you can focus in on what you want to do. Organizing your life and simplifying your life is going to help you create and implement that plan so that you know how much you can spend and you know what you need to do to ensure you're not going to outlive your money. It can help you to reduce stress so that you can enjoy the time you have with loved ones and you can focus on relationships instead of stuff. And it also helps to ensure you're not just wasting your money or your energy on things that just no longer serve you and maybe never did. When your space is simplified, your financial roadmap becomes so much clearer. And that's when the transformation really begins. And I can't tell you how many people have said it's been such a game changer. And I know for me it is too. So I really encourage you to look at that and consider that. All right, let's dive into some final thoughts on decluttering your life, emotionally, physically, and financially. You know, it's not always easy because you have that neural pathway. And for whatever it's worth, when we have neural pathways, those neural pathways really feed us, right? Because they give us that dopamine hit. And then we have these memories, and we have these emotions, and sometimes even fears, but we're addicted to them. And then when it comes to money, it can be really messed up. And so we've got to get quiet enough in our mind that we can get focused on what we want, where we're going, and then be able to get rid of the things that don't serve us. There's not a lot of things I can guarantee, but one thing I can guarantee is that if you take the time to simplify your life and declutter it, the clarity and the peace of mind you're going to get from that are so worth it. It's like priceless. And every step you take to getting more organized, to getting rid of stuff, is a step towards a more organized, financially secure, and confident life. And that, my friend, is so powerful. And you don't have to go it alone. I really encourage you to engage with somebody. You can find somebody that also wants to get organized, ideally a friend or a family member, or maybe even your partner, and then make it a priority. The end result is so powerful. I really encourage you to take that step. Now, if you want help in getting your financial house in order, you don't have to go that alone either. The ultimate goal is you worry less, you enjoy your life more. And the sooner you start, the better. You can go to themillionairinsider.com/support to access that. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. This is a topic that is just such a good one. And it's something that as you get more money, you think, oh, you got to have more stuff, right? When in reality, no. In fact, I think that one of the joys of having money is to be able to really spend your money on things you want, but not the stuff. You know, it's like, okay, you have this really nice vase, you have this really nice picture, but you don't have to have stuff in every single spot. And a lot of people that do that, it either stems from them experiencing the depression or having parents or grandparents that did. And it was kind of just generational. You kept everything you have because you might need it for a rainy day. The downside of that is that sometimes it really stifles us from a mental aspect. So don't let that be you. I'll look so forward to seeing you on our next episode. All international copyrights are reserved. Bye for now.